Oh, that's good. That's... And you can see, I mean, look at that. Look at where the shit's been carved out. Look at that deep gash. Okay, almost as cool as the glacial erratics. Okay, actually, I would say this beats the glacial erratics. Especially to see the striations from the thousands of tons of ice per square foot that once laid upon this exposure right here. Okay, so of course, you know, I should point out that these were individual pillow lavas, of course. They were separate units, okay? Just pillow-sized masses of basalt. Holy shit, look at the polishing there. That's exquisite. That's what you'd call some exquisite rock money shot porn. Okay, so these were independent masses of basalt 2 billion years ago when they were spit out of the earth underwater in a marine environment. They cooled pretty quickly once they came into contact with that water. And then, later on, of course, they were all melted together, perhaps partially melted, in one big indistinct mass. Okay, but you can still see the outline of some of the original pillows. And then, of course, you know, relatively recently, well, I don't know, when did the glaciation start? Maybe 13 million years ago? That's when you first got the big ice ages. Once that happened, then the glaciers went to town on them. So the polishing is much more recent than the age of the rock itself. Okay, the rock had to be uplifted first, and then those glaciers really went to town on them quite recently in geologic time, just polishing them, smoothing them, like you would get, kind of like you would get in a stream, you know, when a rock's been, or like at the, you know, repeatedly beaten by waves. However, this is much different. This is a lot more pressure. You've got the, you know, a mile-high chunk of ice on top of you. Maybe a mile or two. Yes, they were actually, these glaciers were fucking massive. They were that big. So beneath them, this rock was beneath a mile of ice. Okay? Roughly, you know, 1,500 meters of ice. And, I mean, it's really something else when you think about it. That's what I like about geology. Really puts everything into perspective. Shows you just how insignificant you are. Which a lot of people don't like, but I like it. I think humanity needs to be humbled a little bit, okay? Preferably just philosophically rather than physically, okay? I don't like the catastrophic aspect too much, but you know. It seems inevitable at this point in human history. With our behavior as of late. I can't get over these. Look at it. So that's the basalt was metamorphosed, of course, as you can see, because it's turned this nice green color. This might actually, no, it's probably not serpentine, it's too hard, but you can see the greenstone basalt, of course, is just metamorphosed basalt. So it was spit out of the ground 2 billion years ago, and then at some point metamorphosed, cooked, okay, i.e. cooked, buried, subjected to depth and pressure, and then much more recently, you had the glaciers go to town on it, putting these lovely striations in it. The striations in the polishing, smoothing down all those rough edges. Yeah, I mean, the other thing to notice too is look at the gouges, okay? They're all down slope, okay? So that tells you which way the ice was flowing. Just from an artistic perspective, it's fucking lovely. Look at that. It's like a Mark Rothko painting. It's like a natural Mark Rothko painting, okay? In Oakland, we got some Mark Rothko paintings too, but normally just in the form of pigeon shit dripping down from the rafters of viaducts and whatnot on the freeway. But this is much more lovely. This is really, I mean, that's a fucking, you could stare at this for a while. You know, it's like staring at fire. It's pretty mesmerizing. Oh, nice. Okay, all right. This plant, we're gonna get comfortable. Why don't you make a pot of coffee, do a bong rip? We're gonna spend a couple minutes here, right? This plant's pretty interesting, okay? Both from a chemical perspective, a taxonomic perspective, and an ecological perspective. This is Comptonia peregrina, okay? And it was originally called, I think Linnaeus's goofy ass originally called it for a time, Myrica aspleniifolias, in reference to its fern-like foliage, okay? Asplenium is a genus of fern. All right, so this is in the order Myricasiata wax myrtle family. You get a species of Myrica in the southeast, the American southeast. You get a species of Myrica out west as well, the California wax myrtle. And it's in the order Phagales, the order of oaks, okay, which is kind of hinted at by its bristle-like fruits. You can see that's right there, kind of bristly, almost looks like kind of like a chinkapin, okay? Now, this is interesting from a chemical perspective because medicinally, for humans, supposedly it's good if you got, it's a remedy for poison oak. If you get an ass rash or something, I'd assume you just use the leaves, mash them up, put them on a little poultice on your ass or something, okay? And I cannot testify to the efficacy of that, who knows? But I can testify to the efficacy of certain compounds in this plant as having cell-killing properties against tumor cells, okay? So there's an anti-cancer benefit here as well. Now, of course, you run into problems with bioavailability and whatever the shit when you're putting that into practice, as well as, concentration, dosage, etc. But there's some pretty good valid science between, pretty good valid science as far as the chemical constituents of this go. And look at the stipules on it too. All right. Oh yeah, look at those stipules. Got a velvety indumentum on that stem. Some nice stipules right there. And then, of course, you can find one. Look at that. Look at those axillary buds. Oh, it smells good just brushing up against it. Look at those axillary buds. What are those nice bracts? The colloquial name for this is sweet fern, okay? And that's because, it's got that fern-like foliage, and when you crush those leaves up, they emit a very nice and pleasant and a rather pungent stench to them, okay? I shouldn't say stench because it actually smells pretty good. All right, look at the axillary buds right there, too. Look at that. Get this. The whole stem is covered in kind of a velvety indumentum, and then you get those axillary buds with all those bracts on them, okay? This plant, the range of this plant is, you get it in Appalachia a little bit, you get it in New England, and you get it in the northern Midwest, and that's about it. It's a monotypic genus, Comptonia, okay? And even more interesting about it is what's going on with the roots, okay? You can see it's kind of forms these little colonies. It spreads by the rhizome. It's found that the roots are nitrogen fixing, okay? They're nitrogen fixing due to an association with an actinomycete bacteria in the genus Frankia. Same genus that a lot of plants use, that genus Frankia, okay? You get alders associated with Frankia, Ceanothus in the buckthorn family associates with Frankia. Quite a few members of the Rosaceae associate with, the rose family associate with Frankia, and of course, the she oaks down there in Australia, the Casuarinas and Alocasuarinas associate with Frankia. And they're called actinomycete bacterias, even though, mycete you would think fungi, but they're a bacteria because they're filamentous. They're like a filamentous soil bacteria. And when they were first identified, 100 years ago, it was assumed they were a fungi, and only later, upon looking at the genome and further inspection, it was realized they're actually a bacteria, okay? But a lot of plants associate with that, okay? It fixes nitrogen out of the atmosphere and makes it available to the plant roots, all right? Another interesting thing about this plant is that it thrives in disturbance. You can see I'm coming up in a fucking slash pile right here, all right? There was a research paper done on this plant where there was there was a clear cut, basically an entire forest, a small area of forest of white pine, Pinus strobus, was clear cut down, and these things popped up the next year, okay? In mass. So it wasn't just one or two seeds that was brought by a bird or, just blew in there somehow. They germinated en masse. You had a mass germination of this plant, meaning those seeds had been laying in wait in the soil seed bank for that long, okay? So upon further inspection of that, there was realized that these goddamn seeds, can lay dormant for 70, 80, up to 100 years, all right? A lot of plants can do that, okay? The only reason most, human crops don't have a seed dormancy, that like squash or tomato seeds germinate readily when you sow them, is because those alleles for seed dormancy, which are certainly an adaptive trait. It's an adaptive allele for plants in the wild, out in the environment, okay? Because think about it, you produce 100 seeds, they all germinate at the same time, and they get wiped out by a flood, or an animal comes by and nips all of them off, or a forest fire happens or something. That's not a beneficial trait, okay? What's going to work best is if you get a couple that germinate here, and then 5 years down the line, a couple more germinate, and then the ones that were, have been laying in the soil the whole time, maybe a couple more germinate 10 years later, right? That's a huge benefit to plants. Even cannabis does that. But of course, in the past 10,000 years of human selection on crop plants, of artificial selection, those traits, those alleles have been selected against, okay? You know, a guy would grow 100 tomato seeds, 50 would germinate readily, 50 would lay in wait. He's going to just, you know, take the 50 that germinate readily and then breed those. And then, you know, every successive generation, you're going to get less seeds that lay in dormancy, okay? So, you know, over thousands of years, that trait gets selected out by people. But seed dormancy is a very beneficial trait for most plants, and you encounter it a lot. You encounter it a lot with plants, okay? Across, you know, different genera, different families, different orders, etc. Wonderful plant right here. It needs to be planted out more, likes the full sun, kind of a sub-shrub, all right? Too bad it's not in cultivation more. Maybe it is, I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Miraceae is the family. The oak order, the order Oaks Fagalis is the order. Look at all that fresh water. You could just take gulps of that stuff, and all you'd have to worry about was industrial pollutants. Wouldn't have to even think about any salinity. That's pretty nice. Look at this. Look at these pygmead arborvitaes you got. Eastern arborvitaes, Thuja occidentalis. And the only reason they're growing like this is obviously because there's no soil there whatsoever. They're just growing out of bare rock. You know, you actually go up there and they get kind of big. Huh? You ever been in undulating Thuja occidentalis swamp before? It's pretty nice as long as the mosquitoes aren't around. And there haven't been any mosquitoes, at least not this time of year. Okay, but I did meet a man today who wanted to argue with me. You know, he thought the Earth was no older than 6,000 years. That was kind of depressing, but we managed to hit it off anyway. We just, you know, don't talk about the things you don't agree on, or the things that are patently false. So anyway, you got a wonderful tree. You might know this one too, especially if you've been to any of the, you know, those bleak beige apartments they got on the northwest side of Chicago. You always see these planted in front of them, with maybe some petunias in the summer. Cupressaceae is the family. There's the tiny little cone. You got a bunch of different species of Thuja out there. Looks like Thuja. Okay, Thuja plicata is on the west coast. You got a really nice one called Thuja coriensis, which is, I believe, endemic to North Korea. Water's got to be so goddamn cold. It makes me think of early childhood trauma I used to feel whenever I looked at the narwhal diorama in the Field Museum. Just imagining being submersed in a frigid body of water. Look at this. Got some nice polishing on these rocks. Almost looks like some serpentine here, like serpentinized, super brittle and soft, like old serpentine. Some ultramathics. Over here you got a nice goldenrod. One of the solidagos, but axillary flowers. Look at it. Just sessile flowers. I guess they're not set. They got a little stem in there. Just born out of the axillary bud, right above the leaf right there. A shiny luster on this Thuja occidentalis. Oh, look at this guy down here. I bet this guy right there is like a 300-year-old tree. You grow slow up here. I mean, the growing season's only fucking 3 months long to begin with. And what would it be like to just take the plunge, just jump down in there? Oh yeah. Now this is pretty good. Okay, this is one of my favorite types of rock. Okay, this is peridotite. It's an ultramafic rock. It's high in magnesium and iron. All right. Peridotite is serpentine before it's been serpentinized. Okay, before it's been metamorphosed. It's the intrusive igneous form of serpentine before it's got that extra cooking in it. Okay, so it's got a lot of olivine, pyroxene, other minerals with a high degree of both iron and magnesium in them. All right, and this is very old. This is I believe a billion to 1.5 billion years old. All right, it's normally a very deep crust, a rock you get deep in the Earth's crust. It's a rarity to see it exposed on the surface of the Earth up here. Okay, and you can see, of course, over the years it's had time to get all these fissures in it, and sometimes you'll find it infused with carbonates, etc. What the fuck is this? It's like it's one of those potentias or some cinquefoil or some kind. All right, let's see. Supposedly, you know, I think there's supposed to be a serpentinized exposure down here. If I could, you know, get down here without breaking my ass. Okay, but serpentine does not last long when it's exposed to the surface of the Earth, so I'd be somewhat surprised. All right, but it's a pleasure enough just to see the peridotite. Normally when you see peridotite, it's generally black. Sometimes you'll see a red if it's been weathered. Yeah, now you see this? Look at a fracture pattern right here. Okay, this is indicative of peridotite. All right, and it's thought the Earth's mantle is mostly composed of peridotite. Okay, you get olivine and peroxide, those nice ultramafic minerals. Okay, high in iron and magnesium. Okay, but again, it's rare to see it exposed on the surface of the Earth. So it's an intrusive igneous rock. It cooled from magma, but slowly underground. Okay, intrusively. Okay, in the deeper parts of the crust and a mantle below that. And then, of course, once it gets metamorphosed, once it gets cooked a little bit, say at a subduction zone, okay, subjected to the more depth and pressure, that's when you get the serpentine. And you add a little water in there too, so it becomes a little bit lighter. It's a less dense rock. But I don't see any serpentine down here. This all just looks like pretty solid peridotite. It's a lovely mass, though. It's a lovely mass. Now look at this, growing in the fissures in the peridotite. Hey, you got a nice campanula. Get that distinctive campanulaceae stigma right there. Okay, look at the bracts too, almost filamentous sepals on that calyx. Okay, very very narrow linear leaves as well. I got a lighter color rock right here. Looks like you got some magnesium carbonates precipitated upon that little crack right there. Okay, serpentine itself doesn't last long at the surface. It's a soft rock, so it weathers pretty readily. But I fucking love peridotite. All right, I like gabbro a little bit more, which is a little bit more towards the felsic side of the spectrum from peridotite. Okay, if you're talking intrusive igneous rocks, you got granite over here, felsic, then diorite, then gabbro, then peridotite. Okay, peridotite being ultramafic, granite being rather felsic, more silica, less iron and magnesium. But this is, look at all the nice fissures, and you got the fucking carbonates in the veins and whatnot. I just spend the whole day staring at rocks. It's not too bad. I can think of some worse shit I could be staring at. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There's a money shot right there. There you go. There's some serpentine right there. Oh, that's nice. Billion-year-old serpentine. Oh, and it's got the nice smooth luster to it too. Oh. Now we're just gonna shimmy around this sketchy precipice real quick. Oh my God! Look at that! Look at the. It's got kind of a coarse grain to it. Oh, I mean, really, staring at rocks. The more you know, the more fucking they are. They're kind of like just natural Rothko paintings. You know what I mean? Oh, break my ass. It's a clamber. It's a little clamber. They got the nice lichens and shit, but they're eating away at it a little bit, Maybe the fungal partner's secreting some enzymes, breaking down that rack. A rack? Breaking down the rack, Dags can't break down racks, okay? I guess maybe they could if Gad intervened. What do you think of that? Fucking carbonate deposits, probably. Maybe there's some chromium in there too. Certainly some magnesium carbonates, though. Look at the poison ivy, huh? No hint of the misery it can cause. Toxicodendron, what a lovely genus. Okay, just don't touch it. Quite a few species too. You get some nice ones in Brazil, down in Japan, over there as well. Okay, just exploiting this nook in the peridotite, along with the Thuja occidentalis. Look at that too. It's okay. The water's fine. You fall in, doesn't. Ah! Look at the shearing. Oh, the serpentinization. Look at the luster. Oh my God. You ever seen Lake Superior serpentine before, huh? You prick. Surprised people aren't taking this. This is fucking lovely rock right there. Look at this. Look at the texture of that. Oh, it's got a conchoidal fracture to it. Oh, the frigid murky waters, a frigid grave. Get some nice iron leaching out of there. Get the carbonates. It's all looking good. Maybe you got a poison oak or poison ivy ass rash. Okay, it's all right. You just put some Comptoni on it, huh? You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Look at that. Lake Superior's trying to swallow me whole. Just drag me right in. Take me away off into the frigid depths. Anyway, look at this grain size, that coarse grain size right there. Almost looks like you might have some chromium minerals. Okay, that's a nice piece. Look at this though, that shearing effect, those striations, that indicative of that tension and that pressure in metamorphism. When this rock was subjected to metamorphism, look at that. Okay, now serpentine is almost always associated with subduction zones. Okay, so it's easy to assume at some point in the last billion or billion and a half years there was a subduction zone here, and that's what created this. Okay, it's subduction zone metamorphism. That's what gives it that nice luster and those striations. And up here, this is pretty interesting. You got that conchoidal fracture, probably some silica in there, I would assume. Kind of feels like chert. Get some nice. Oh, look at that. You get some irons in there. Got some nice iron oxides. This is good stuff, you know. Look, olivine and peroxide minerals. You got the greens. What a nice exposure. Massive growth of toxicodendron. The poison ivy just thriving on this little fissure. Over here we got a nice little fern. Look at that. Little fern! Growing in the cracks and the racks. Anytime you look at a fern, you got to flip it over. Get good photos of those sexual parts on the underside, those sporangia, those sori. Verbascum, they got the mullen even out here. It's everywhere. It could be a really bad invasive. All right, but again, it's nice for toilet paper. You know, I might give this to my friend, get him to he's been smoking these spliffs with tobacco, and I don't like that too much. Especially when I have to smell it. It smells like a fucking old man's esophagus, you prick. So maybe he'll get some of these, dry them out, then he can use it as a base for his spliff. Half this, half weed, you know. Just maybe I think he does it because he's trying not to get too blazed all the way. I don't know. Anyway, there's a more perfect individual of that campanula, probably Campanula rotundifolia. Look at that. What a lovely plant, huh? With the beautiful Lake Superior in the background. Because she never gives up her dead. That fucking song came up in my suggested feed today. You know, I fucked myself. Now I'm playing it as a joke. Now I'm fucked. God, can't stand Gordon Light, but what a prick. That's how they do it. See that? They just dump it right off the rail cars into the boat, into the barge. Okay, but is it taconite or is it just the ore? Is it just the racks? Might be the taconite pellets. I don't know. Look, it's another ringneck snake, a Diadophis punctata. Poor little bastard. Look at it. Cute. I had one shit on me yesterday, huh? I forgot to tell him I wasn't into his scat play. Look at this cladonia. This is a ground lichen. Just so ubiquitous here in the northern woods. This guy's just hanging out underneath a big slab of granite. You see, okay, I gotta move you for a minute because I don't want to put this thing back down. You know, you can crawl back under there, all right? Once I put it back down, but you know, I don't want to smush you. Look, he's got that beautiful coloration on him too. Okay, don't shit on me. Do you mind? Would you mind not shitting on me, huh? I don't think that's too much to ask a stranger. Okay, guy, there you go. Come on. I gotta put this thing down. A nice little opening, a little upland area in the north woods on a granite glade. You got your Pinus strobus, your Pinus resinosa, the native rubus, and the cladonia all over the ground. Okay? I don't know what people do up here in the winters. Maybe they just get hammered and identify mosses. I don't know. Fucking probably not. Probably more like get hammered and crash their snowmobiles. Look at the little, looks like a little powdery puff. It's a little powdery puff. And then down there you got some nice baggy bags. A bag for the dags. It's a bunch of Clintonia all over the ground. Oh, we have appear to have some kind of orchid here. Oh yeah, look at that. We're good. Just right next to the Abies balsamia seedlings. Another western disjunct. Some of you I watched my notice orchid Goodyear oblangifolia. Okay, but these look a little bit different. Okay, colloquially known as the rattlesnake plantain. And this guy's already gone to fruit. You can see those hairy fruits, hairy ovaries. Ugh. Arroagance bastard here, Vaccinium angustifolium. One of the blueberries. The Arroagaceae, notorious mycorrhizal affiliates. Just growing right in there with the cladonia and the rubus and all the other shit. Who's this guy? What are you doing? Huh? Oh, this guy looks like, yeah, there he goes. I bet he'd give me a good, come here. Come here. Just come hang out for a second. I just want to talk. I'm sorry this isn't consensual, okay? All right? You just shit on my friend over there. All right? We just want to get some quick money shots and just show me those fangs again. Those little, all right, we'll let you go. We'll let you go over there. Off into the Michelia. Okay, sorry about that guy. You get really nasty fragrance. Here you go, another Arroagaceous bastard, Gaultheria procumbens. You can see the style is left over on those fruits right there. This was Mr. November in the circumboreal bastards calendar. This is Linnea borealis, Caprifoliaceae, the honeysuckle family, opposite leaves. Okay, that might be the big giveaway there. Linnea borealis, named after Linnaeus. Okay, and did was Linnaeus a cross-dresser? I'm just going to start a rumor saying that he was. Okay, for all intents and purposes, he might have been. Nothing wrong with that. All right. He liked those tight stockings, okay? But I don't know when this. What is the history of this plant? When was it first described? Who took the type species, etc.? But you get it. Again, it's circumboreal, so it's at higher latitudes all over the globe, and at lower latitudes at higher altitudes. Okay, which is tends to be a theme. Okay, high latitude plants. The only time you get them at lower latitudes is at the higher elevations. Anyway. This guy, you get this in California. It was the first place I ever seen this guy, and then here we are on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and there he is. Okay. Tiny calyx, a big pink flower. Got the nice 5 lobes to it, and inner pink perianth right there. Inner pink part of that corolla with some nice speckling. Look, it's the pizza mushroom. I just made that up too. Oh. I'm a pretty shit cook, but I am pretty good at making pizzas. Oh, look at that! It's got a distinct texture to that stipe right there. Oh, look at those gills. What's it smell like? All I smell is garter snake shit, so I can't really say. Okay, pizza mushroom. Okay, just like Linnaeus being a crossdresser, he's got all that sexy lacy underwear on underneath those tight skivvies they used to wear back in the day. Got all the Clintonia too. Look at that. Parallel venation, obvious monocot, member of the Liliaceae. Then it's got those little squishy blue berries as fruits, but looks like they've already been nabbed. Beautiful outcropping of granite there. Look at the lichens on there. Leaf-like lichens. Oh yeah, nice. Look at that. One of my favorite mycorrhizal edible mushrooms. A member of the chanterelle group. Okay. You got the little dimple in the middle, okay? You got the gills that go down the stem, okay? Ooh. They want to be eaten, all right? You got to eat them. You just got to make sure you take a dump in the forest later, bury it nice. Okay? That's how you get to disperse the spores around, okay? Just make sure you're not violating any laws, and if you are, don't get caught, all right? Gorilla compost shitting. See, it's very, very distinct texture on those stems too. See that? Ooh. I assume they're symbiotic with the spruces and hemlocks there and with the shit. Oh, I just got beamed in the head with the lag. Hazards are staring at the ground, you know. Felt like getting punched or something, you know. Which, you know, you got to have happen to you sometimes, okay? Got to have some friends you could just put some gloves on, just knock each other around, you know? It's pretty good for you. Anyway, here, look, we got a nice species of amanita. You got that nice panaderia speckling on the top, you know, like the sweet bread they sell in the Mexican bakeries. Nice. This is just, you can see the cap is just starting to unfurl. Or maybe it's, no, it's not always like that. But look at the stipe. Look at the texture of the stipe right there. Huh? Kind of ropey and fibrous. Oh, dig down. I love the mycorrhizal bastards. This is one of the first things I always ask, you know, when I'm with a friend who's into mushrooms and they're showing me what's what. I say, what is it? Is it saprotrophic, eating dead stuff, decomposing dead stuff, or is it mycorrhizal, or is it parasitic, etc.? This is a showy bastard. You know, some of the amanitas are edible, but you know, and some are very delicious, and then of course some are deadly poisonous. You know, so you don't. Looks like someone might have nibbled on this guy, huh? But all of them, all the amanitas, of course, are mycorrhizal, associating with the oaks and pines. Oh, look at it. We got some lycophytes. Ooh, descendants of some of the first land plants, huh? We're going to see the lycopod fossil dungeon at the Field Museum. You know, can you still get in there? I think they're still letting people in, but you gotta sign up or something because of the whole Rona thing, you know. Anyway, there's that. See, these guys just growing in the ground, on the ground in the understory, okay? Almost looking like a Huperzia, which they're related to, but of course Huperzia seems to like all the tropical areas. Okay, I do love a lycophyte though. Where's the sporophylls? There's one. Oh. Vascular, a lineage of some of the first vascular plants. You're so patient. Why you're just used to this now, aren't you, Louis? Huh? So with all these members of the pine family, you know, the abies, the suga, the pinus, you're going to have a lot of ectomycorrhizal mushrooms, okay? Because the whole pine family is, you know, ectomycorrhizal associates. So there's one of them right there. Remember the Boletaceae. See those? Instead of gills, they got those pores. All right, looks like a sponge. There's that cap right there. Okay? Now, some of the boletes are delicious. They're choice mushrooms, and some, of course, well, they may not kill you, but they're certainly going to send you to the bathroom. Okay? You're going to be puking out both ends. But, look at that nice... oh, yeah. It looks like the slug's got these, too. Nice Aurelia over there. See that guy? We go growing on the granite outcrops. We got another species of Aurelia. Okay, unlike that Aurelia nudicollis we've seen earlier, which just basically means naked stem, nudicollis. This is Aurelia hispida. Okay, and hispid just means, you know, stiff and bristly hairs. Okay, which obviously is a good reference point there right here for the lower part of the stem. Okay, Apiales is the order. The same order as carrots, the Apiaceae. But the family is Aureliaceae. It's got its own family. Okay, but again, you still have that the inflorescent structures in umbel. It's not flowering, of course, because it's late fall, or early fall, excuse me, late summer. And here's the fruits right there. Just little berries. Okay? Growing on a granite outcrop above a bag. And Mr. September in the circumboreal bastards calendar was this guy, Arctostaphylos uva ursi. Okay, Ericaceae is the family. This is the circumboreal Arctostaphylos, which, you know, you find is pretty common all over the globe at high latitudes. Okay? There's the notorious manzanita bark. It's kind of scraggly here, kind of not as smooth. You can see it's just a, you know, decumbent, a creeping bastard. And I think, you got any fruits on there still? Bearberry's the common name. And a nice glistening nature to that leaf. Another, you know, the Ericaceae, of course, are big mycorrhizal symbionts as well. Big mycorrhizal affiliates. Anyway, nice when you see it on the shore of Lake Michigan, on the sands. Oh, here we go. This is pretty nice. Here's a member of the poppy family. Okay, Corydalis sempervirens. I believe it's genus has been changed to Capnoides. Okay, but you got those dicentra-like flowers. Okay, and quite distinct poppy-like leaves. Look at those dissected leaves down there. All right, almost looking like an escholzia. But those flowers are something else. And then, of course, the fruits. You got those dehiscent capsules right there. See, a bunch of tiny seeds inside it just split open. Growing on the granite outcrops, okay, because nothing else can compete with it there. All right? It's got a little niche. Look at the flowers, though. You really maybe got to get close and check them out. Look at this. They got those little bracts at the base of the flower right there. See those little upside-down heart-shaped bracts? Beautiful color. And, of course, blooming in late summer, early fall, still going off. Beautiful little bastards. Beautiful little perennial. See, here's more of that Cordalis. See, it likes the rock outcroppings. Okay, less competition, more exposure. It's this giant slab of granite. This looks like it's about to fall off. Nice little succulent monocot, Myanthemum canadense. And then just more of the Arctostaphylos everywhere. See, there's some fruits. There's some berries for you. Some bearberries. I like it. Always smells like a little hint of cologne. Oh, look, there's a mushroom growing down there in that fucking crack down there. In that crevasse. All right, well, that's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed that. All right, have a good rest of your evening. Go fuck yourself. Trying to be a prick. Bye. Like the bag, Louie? You like it? You like it? It's so squishy. Is it vibing you out a little bit? Anyway, in the acidic bag. That's some holy shit. If I don't, hopefully I don't sink down here. Nice basal angiosperm lineage right here. Nymphaea. This is Nymphaea odorata. There's the. I can't show you the fucking flower. It's too rotted. I can get and show you the laminar stamens. Laminar stamens. No, it's rotten. It's ratting. There's some nice ones out there though. See them floating, blooming in the late summer. There's some wonderful Drosera intermedia. The sundews, tiny little bastards. Compensating for that lack of nitrogen, the highly acidic substrate they're growing in by eating bugs, which is the same thing this Sarracenia is doing over here. Sarracenia purpurea. Nice pitcher plant. So look, it's a sphagnum bag. Look at that. There's a couple guys in there. Sarraceniaceae is the family here. Drosseraceae is the family over there on that Drossera I just showed you. Those hairs, of course, help keep those guys in there. Okay, you keep the guys in there where they're slowly digested by enzymes, by bacterial enzymes. Need that bacteria to help these guys break it down. A nice sphagnum moss is lovely too. So again, Drosera and Sarracenia, both digesting bugs to compensate for the low nitrogen levels in the highly acidic substrate they're growing in. But that's just convergent evolution. No relation. No close relationship there. Just both figuring out what worked and picking it up evolutionarily speaking. You got some cranberries too. Vaccinium macrocarpan. And a relative of that Comptonia I was showing you earlier. This is a Myrica. Species of Myrica, the wax myrtles, Myricaceae. Arbovitae leaves. See those nice dentate margins at the distal end? There's a nice flower on that Sarracenia. Oh, look at the texture of the ovary in there. Yeah, Sarracenia purpurea is another pretty widespread plant at the high latitudes. At least where you get a bag. Look at the inner pattern on that picture too. Oh, again with all those beautiful hairs, which keep the guys in there. This whole mat is just floating. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's a nice Nymphaea money shot. Ah, hopefully I don't sink in there. See, laminar stamen. See that? It's kind of flattened and wide. If I can get this, pull this bastard up without. Oh yeah, there we go. You get a nice close up in there. Look at those guys. I'm already fucking sinking. God damn it. Let's get some water in there too. It's a pretty joyous bastard. Another one of the proud inhabitants to the bags, Larix laricina, deciduous pine. The whole genus Larix, of course, is deciduous, meaning they shed their needles every winter. But this is a short guy too. Normally they can get a lot taller. They can also tolerate those extremely acidic conditions. You know, but normally, I think the southern extent of their range is like northern Illinois. But you'll see them upwards of, 30 feet tall. This whole structure on that Sarracenia flower is basically just a highly modified stigma. It's the larger stigma. And I just pulled off one of the fruits on the one behind me. And you can see those are all the seeds right there. Little Sarracenia seeds. So I'll help them disperse. I'll go spread them around.